Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel today. My name is Sierra Mason, for those that do not know me. And today's topic we are talking about is partial obedience and how that is still being disobedient. And we live in a time where people want to give God just enough. And what I mean by that is just enough obedience to feel good, but not enough to truly be transformed by Him. We pick and choose what we want to follow, what we want to let go of, and what we want to hold on to. This could look like literally following people on social media or staying in groups that the Lord, friend groups, social settings, places that the Lord has asked you to move on from. But God is not asking for half of obedience. He's asking for our complete wholeness. And the truth is, people will change. People will switch up on you. People will walk away. They will betray you. Hopefully not. But it happens. People will misunderstand you on a daily. But Jesus, He never changes. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So why don't we stay loyal to things that shift? If we can be loyal to a friendship, we're loyal to relationships that are equally yoked. Why are we struggling to fully obey the one who never switches up? Okay, so we see in Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 16 through 18, where the Lord commands the Israelites that are at war, hey, I'm going to send you out to war. Don't fear. I'll be with you. You know, you're going to win every time because I'm big God and you have nothing to worry about. But when you get to these particular areas, it says in verse 16, however, in the cities of the nations, the Lord your God is giving you as an inheritance, meaning I'm going to give you this. This is now going to be your land. It was once someone else's land. They occupied it. They did detestable things there. I'm going to give you this because they don't deserve to have that. But you, my people, and I'm going to bless you with this land. He stated, do not leave alive anything that breathes. Completely destroy them. Destroy the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Otherwise, they will teach you to follow all the detestable things they do in worshiping their gods, little G-O-D. And you will sin against the Lord your God, big G-O-D. So the Lord already foreseen what would possibly happen. If you get to this land and you decide not to do what I asked you to do, these people could affect you in a huge way. They can influence you. You ever heard the saying, birds of a feather flock together? It's kind of similar. Or one bad apple in a bunch will spoil the rest. I'm trying to think of cute little metaphors, but I can't. But I think you kind of get what I'm trying to say. When you get around unequally yoked individuals, people that don't have the same morals, the same beliefs, believe in the same God as you, you could get around them and they could start influencing you. The once Proverbs 31 woman who didn't curse is now cursing when she gets frustrated. And she's now dishonoring her mother and father. She's now breaking covenants that she had with the Lord. She's now choosing to pick up a glass of wine or a Heineken instead of taking her stresses and emotions to the Lord and pulling open her Bible and getting her prayer closet, fasting and praying. She's now turning to other substances. She's now smoking illegal substances, like all these things. Why? Because she was introduced, she was influenced. People that are still battling spirits that you've already overcome or been delivered or never even exposed to, you're now exposed to because you chose to be in a place at the wrong time. You chose not to obey the Lord and either remove yourself from there or, like the Israelites were commanded to do was destroy everyone once they arrived there. God understood that if you didn't fully destroy something he asked you to get rid of, it'll hold you back. And the children of Israel, they disobeyed. They kept some of the things. They made compromises. They allowed influences to stay. And over time, those same things became the very traps that led them into sin, idolatry, and bondage. Something so simple as, oh, it's a gold statue. I have never owned a gold statue before. This is gonna look cute on my fireplace mantle. But not knowing out of ignorance that this comes with spiritual bondage. Because that was a little god that you shouldn't even be bringing into your household. Solomon is another person. He was chosen by God. But he fell because of what? Partial disobedience. He married women outside of God's covenant and women who worship other gods, and slowly his heart turned away. And right there, it was partial disobedience, because back then in the Old Testament, in the Torah days, you were not supposed to marry outside of your covenant. And even now, I mean, marrying an unequally yoked individual, that'd be really challenging. Imagine marrying someone that was Muslim and you're Christian. It would just be really challenging. It's best to just marry someone that believes the same way you believe. When it comes to partial disobedience, it doesn't look dangerous at first. It looks manageable. It looks harmless. It's like small. It's like, oh, this is minor. It's no big deal. But what you don't realize is it creates space for the enemy. It creates opportunities. You know how they say weed is like a gateway drug? Like, people are so gung-ho and weed is harmless. It comes from the earth and it's natural. Yeah, that could be all of that and more. You know, you can get what you need from it. I personally don't partake in it. But you are opening yourself up to a gateway that, okay, this is not hitting like it used to hit. I've been doing this for years and now I'm not getting what I need from it. So let me try something harder. And the weed man might bring you something totally different. Hey, try this. I got some abracadabra. I need you to try this little potion. I mixed it up real nice in my kitchen. This right here, get you where you need to get. And next thing you know, you wilding out. Why? Because you got complacent, you got comfortable in where you were at, and you allowed a gateway, a foothold, just like a foothold from the enemy's camp to get in and infiltrate your camp. This could look like fear. This could look like anxiety. This could look like pride. And don't forget, we are all at war. The kingdom of darkness is at war with the kingdom of light. And if you are a Christ ambassador, we throwing hands at the kingdom of darkness. Like, that's just what it is. They're not playing with you. They're not kikiing. They are literally out for blood. The enemy studies you. He has devices, strategies, counterfeits. He's trying to delay you, deter you, derail you, off you. They could be very subtle, wrapped up in a pretty bow, as fine and curvy as you want them, beautiful as you want them. They're not obvious. This could look like music. This could look like TV shows. This could look like conversations from a complete stranger. This could look like environments. This could look like DM slides. This could look like so many different things. The enemy knows your temptations, your weaknesses, what you want. We even see in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14, where it says that we should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. But in today's society, we ignore that. We enter relationships God never approved, thinking we can fix them, thinking we can shape and mold them into who we want them to be. We may entertain connections that slowly pull us away from the Lord, knowing good and well you shouldn't be having a late night conversation about that topic. We may think it's love, but ultimately these things are pulling us away from God. because it was never loved. It was disguised as love, more like lust, and it was ultimately a distraction from the enemy, because the enemy knows you're getting close to hitting a goal, checking an assignment that the Lord has assigned to you off the list. Why not throw a curveball, throw you off, and stop you going from church every Sunday? As servants of Christ, we are slaves to Christ. We are supposed to be picking up our cross on a daily. We are not supposed to be slaves to sin. Our bodies no longer belong to us. Our bodies are now a holy temple that belongs to Christ. And we can't allow them to get dirty and filthy, because God is sending the Holy Spirit to dwell inside of us. And you may say, oh, it's just a little bit of sin. I only watch one episode. Oh, I only use my vibrator one time this month. Oh, I only watch Pornhub twice this month. Even a little disobedience is a big deal in the spiritual world. I personally remember the Lord asked me to move from Houston to Dallas and get rid of all my stuff. And I'm like, everything? Like everything? And I didn't get rid of everything. And the things that I did not get rid of, I didn't know that there was a spiritual attached. There were spirits attached to it. And that came with a lot of turmoil, a lot of unnecessary spiritual warfare, had I just been obedient and got rid of it. Because anything that leads you away from obeying God, anything minor that you think is minor or society normalizes, is still disobedience, even if it's partial, even if it's just a 30-minute click and flick. God said to have no other idols before him, but we see in today's society that idols don't always look like statues. It doesn't always look like altars. Like back in the Old Testament days, they look like relationships that we can't let go of, whether this is social groups that we used to be a part of that was bringing us back and not feeding us the right spiritual fruit that we needed so that we can walk truly in our purpose and who God needs us to be here on earth. But instead, it was holding us back and keeping us in bondage. This could look like, male and female relationships, or even female and female and male and male relationships that we can't let go of, that God is trying to deliver you from. That could be just distracting you from what he has for you. It could be addictions that we keep going back to, pride that we just can't let go of, jobs that we are placing before the Lord, social media validation, money, comfort, you name it. Anything that you place above God is an idol. And when I say place above God, I mean devote more time spent with that particular subject versus the time spent reading your Bible, praying, and in worship with the Lord. Or you rely heavy on your job income, your entrepreneur income, more so than you rely on the Lord providing your needs as Jehovah Jireh. And the danger is that when you give the enemy an foothold, he will try to sabotage and destroy everything God is building in your life. So what you think is really small, what you think is really harmless, is actually a major opening in the spiritual realm. That's why some of us are stuck in cycles. The same tests are being cast down from heaven. We're going to see if she passes this time. We're going to see if he passes this time. The same struggles, the same seasons, repeating over and over and over again. You may feel like you're going crazy, but it's not always the devil. It's because you're being disobedient. Because if we haven't passed the test that was set out for us, even though it was open book, even though he gave us the answers, we're going to have to keep taking it. Because what loving father is going to want to pass you along if he knows you're not competent of being on your own? Remember, partial obedience delays your purpose. Partial obedience invites warfare you weren't meant to carry. Partial obedience keeps you bound when God is calling you to be free. And when God tells you to walk away from something and you do not do it, you open the door for fear, for anxiety. Why? Because deep down your spirit knows that you're out of alignment. But when you fully obey God, there comes so much peace, so much joy, so much clarity. There's a covering over you. There's protection over you. So today, I just want to ask, what is God telling you to let go of that you're still holding on to? What is God asking you to do that you keep delaying? What small thing have you convinced yourself, oh, it's okay. God already told me to remove this, but it's okay. I'll do it when I feel ready, when I'm capably wanting to do it, being in compliance. Because remember, delayed obedience is still disobedience. Partial obedience is still disobedience. So it's time to love and respect God enough to fully obey him. I'm talking not halfway, not selectively, not when it's convenient, but completely 100% obey your loving Father. Because your obedience is not just about rules, it's about your relationship with him. And the God who is never changing, he's worthy of all your surrender. So I pray this message helps someone. I pray it uplifts you all. And I pray you all just have a beautiful, blessed day. Y'all take care.